Shalom Yashwal, when the staff was about giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem El Shai, that belongs to the apostle of GMS, and all his people are doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. Now on this one, I'm going to be answering another question that I've actually asked before, but from a different angle. We'll be answering the question just how close are we to the end. I was basically reading actually this story. But then I saw this headline, and it's just like you can't you can't see that headline and leave it for another day. As you can see, this was on August the 19th of this year. But there's all this talk about September this, September that. But the title here says Putin signs September war order authorizing nuclear attack on NATO forces. Because here it is. People are getting ready for this third world war. The men of the Lord are seeking, and they're vehemently hoping that all this talk about September isn't in vain, and that actually things can actually start moving quick, next month. So, I'm just going to read, snippets of it, in the interest of time. It says, the Ministry of Defense is reporting today that President Putin has signed a September war authorizing atomic weapon first strikes on NATO forces as fears grow within the Kremlin that the Obama regime is about to unleash a massive attack in Ukraine against both separate forces and the autonomous Republic of Crimea. Says President Putin signed this grave war order in Crimea early today during a security meeting with top Federation military leaders. Says it is evident that the threat on the part of external forces to destabilize in this, and it's funny because just today, I don't know if I'll get anything from RT. Nah, don't really see anything on RT here. But just today it was talking about how Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken, Ukraine was basically having some scuffles, and a policeman got shot and killed, but most of the people were basically thinking about VMAs yesterday. Taylor Swift's speech about Kanye West. And it's, these people are fully indulged in, the bread and circuses that this society has to offer. I'm going to carry on real quick. I'm just going to read this paragraph here. I thought it was particularly interesting. It says, upon President Putin's signing of the war order, the report says over 9,000 troops and 3,000 combat vehicles of the Federation's Iskander-M tactical ballistic missiles system batteries began their immediate 800 kilometers redeployment to the Arktistan. So let me read this as well. Raising the Kremlin's fears of war even more, the report continues, is the 65,000 strong army Ukraine has amassed on the front lines near Donetsk, which MOD experts warn will attack simultaneously with planned Western terror attacks in Crimea in a misguided attempt to force the Federation to defend only the latter instead of the former. So, as you can see from this article, man, things are really heating up. Things are really, really heating up, and this is an older one. This is July 4th, 2015. It says, China warns Russia that state of war now exists with the United States, right? It says, according to this report, following the provisions and protocols of the 8th May 2015 Russian-Chinese cybersecurity agreement that states a signatory to this pact that anticipates the outbreak of hostilities is obligated to immediately inform the other so that war preparations needed to protect critical infrastructure can be undertaken. The PRC, People's Republic of China, has informed the Federation that these conditions now exist. So basically this is China saying that they're basically ready and preempting a war that is soon to come, and basically that Russia should do the same. And you can see everything that's been happening in China recently. Starting off, it was actually before the devaluation of their currency, which was actually a retaliatory attack, if I'm not mistaken, to the US, and then the US attacking Xinjiang, as it's largely speculated, so the war's already begun, and it's getting hot very quickly, and we just hope that it starts burning up in September. So I just got some scriptures. 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. And that's what I was saying with all this shit. That's what most people will be talking about. And here in London today, it's bloody Notting Hill Carnival. So most people are basically thinking about that instead of actually thinking about the current geopolitical landscape that we're living in. It says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. And what is that talking about? That's talking about, these nuclear missiles. What has power to melt elements? It says, verse 11, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Which is why the apostles put out the order saying, yo, guys, it's not the time to be going clubs and all that good stuff. Because we're supposed to be and just meditating on these things about to come. We're supposed to be getting serious now, us men in this truth, right? Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And that's like I said, man, these nuclear missiles are gonna come and do a madness. And because they're doing that, what kind of person in this truth are you supposed to be? It says, reiterating the same points, Malachi 4:1 says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day cometh that shall burn them up, saying the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Once again, talking about these nukes. It says Job 20:23 says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he was eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gulls, tears upon him. Right? And just to prove that what's being spoken about here is a nuclear missile. Right, it says, all darkness shall be hid in a secret place. A fire not blown shall consume him. I was talking about that nuclear fire. Because more times for a fire to go and be blown, it needs wind. But the nuke missile, the energy is within the missile. It is in the, the reaction that causes the energy to come out, in the big mushroom cloud and the big shockwave afterwards. This is Joel 2. Says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Which is what I'm doing here, man. I'm telling I'm just basically show you what time we're in. Right? It's blowing the trumpet. It says, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, and the great people and the strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth them before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Once again, it's talking about the destruction that these ICBMs cause. Right? Seeing if there's any, this whole chapter's more or less good. But in the interest of time, I'm just gonna end it there, and I hope you brothers were edified. Shalom.